The one thing that makes me perhaps most sad is that we have the people who left New Orleans and didn't have the means and haven't had the means. We have not fully repopulated them for whatever reason. So, you know, what should have happened, I think that we should have made a stronger effort to get all of our citizens back. So that to me is the one thing that hasn't happened that should have happened.
We should make sure that the people that were displaced or weren't able to come back were able to come back. You know, a lot of people, there were barriers and challenges economically, physically, that didn't allow people that wanted to return to be able to return. So I think 10 years ago, a way should have been made for those people to come back if they wanted to.
One of the things that should have happened that didn't happen had to do with all the people who had to be evacuated that lived in public housing. I think HUD and Hanno did the biggest disservice, committed the biggest sin that there was. They made promises that they have yet or have not yet kept. And that was to keep those people in mind, those people who were already economically oppressed, but they were extremely disrespected in the way that they were not allowed to come back into their homes, and just a modicum of human dignity. You needed to be able to get your stuff, and they were not allowed that. In fact, they were criminalized for trying to just get back in there.
Taking down the old housing projects was a real mistake. Those were good, solid brick houses, brick buildings that could have been renovated. I know, you know, the issues about cost and so forth, but those were neighborhoods too, and they were taken down, and they've been replaced by wooden houses, which are not going to wear as well as the old brick houses are. I hate to think what they're going to look like in 20 years.
So how many people can afford to come home? People that want to do, people that know this community would be willing to rebuild it. They cannot afford to come home. And many of them are not prepared for the jobs that are now flourishing in our community. And thus, when I look at my neighborhood now, I have really nice people living in my neighborhood, but they're not the really nice people that lived there before Katrina.
So those are, I think, our challenges are jobs. You know, the word gentrification gets pushed around a whole lot. Make sure that we keep the indigenous New Orleans people here and the indigenous culture going on, else we'll be like everywhere else in the country, and we'll be, you know, looking at New Orleans in the past tense as opposed to the future. So if we can keep the jobs here and keep the people here who are creating the culture, it'll be a win-win for everybody.
You look at the Treme neighborhood, popularized by the TV program. Everyone wants to live in Treme now. But the neighbors who made Treme what it is, in many cases can't afford to live there anymore. It's been a lesson in how not to treat a people.
And there are folks that are still coming home, Every week I hear about people who have been gone for now 10 years that are coming home. And it is, I get full about that, because Dorothy said it, there's no place like home, no place like home. And that's very good.